Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and where you're viewing this. My name is Mike. I am the Crypto Liberal. Thanks for joining me again today. Do me a favor, help me spread the word, help me spread the message that this channel, that alts, that our trades are killing it. We need to spread the word. People need to be able to take advantage of these opportunities when they're just at their optimal point of entry. And that's what we do on this channel consistently. We're like 5 for 5 on our trades. Seriously. I mean, I've taken 4 of them. I stayed out of the 5th one, but if you had taken the 5th one, you're doing better than on some of the other 4 that I did take personally. So we're winning every single trade on this channel. Help me spread the message. Give me a like. Give me a subscribe. Give me a comment. Hit that bell notification so you know when I'm making new videos. And most importantly, maybe, follow me on Twitter at @crypto_liberal. Because yesterday I didn't have a chance to make a video, but I did post that I was taking profits. And we're going to talk about that. So if that sounds good to you, give me a like, give me a subscribe. So let's start with Bitcoin, right? And this isn't a trade that I'm in, but we've nailed this analysis on Bitcoin as well. Let's just look at it, right? Look how we've been doing. So, let's just go back to, a couple months ago. This descending red line, it was acting as support, from May through June, until the middle of June, right? We had that support line, and when it broke, I said it's going to be tough to get above that line. But as we got down to the lows of 17,000, I drew 2 lines above us, right? 2 lines above us. The blue line, which was not a strong level of resistance now, but it was a level of resistance. And that continuing red line, which I told you was going to be really strong resistance. Well, so what happened, right? We hung out down below the blue line for a while. Look at this. I had the blue line, I drew the blue line, back here in the middle of June. And the upper red line, right? I drew that months ago. So what happened after I drew the blue line and after the red line? Well, we hung out below the blue line for a while, and then what happened? We came right up to the blue line. I mean, the blue line was already there. And look at that. We wicked right to it, got rejected. Okay? Came back down, and I said, we're probably going to break it, but that red line's going to be strong resistance. So we went up, back down, and look at that. On last weekend, on July 30th, right? What happened? Look at that red line. I mean, that red line is, I drew that red line months ago. Look at, we wicked right to the red line, got rejected. And, after we went above the blue line, I told you just a couple days ago when we were coming back down to the blue line that to watch it, see if it serves as support. Well, look at that. I mean, the blue line has been there if you've been following this channel, the blue line's been there for a while. And I told you it would be resistance, and it was. And then I told you it would be support. And it is. So the question is what's going to break first here? What's going to break first? And that's the key thing to keep an eye on. Is the red line going to break? Is the resistance going to break? Are we going to go above the red line? Or, and as an alternative, is the blue line going to break? And I told you, if we get below the blue line on a daily close, that the next thing to watch out for is this lower red line, which you can, I've drawn recently. But you can see how it served as support on each higher low, right? It's an ascending red line. So, say we break the blue line, in the next couple days, do we come back down to this red line? I would not be surprised. And that right now, if it happened a couple days from now, it's, 19,600, 19,700, depending on when we come down to it. So that's the story. That's the story. And if you've been watching my channel, I told you I was not going to get excited about Bitcoin again until it got above that red line. That's resistance right now, that has served as perfect resistance to the dollar. I told you it was going to be resistance. It served as resistance basically to the dollar after I drew that line. I mean, it's perfect. And nobody else on crypto Twitter, nobody else on crypto YouTube has drawn that line there. I haven't seen one other person tell you about that resistance, and it served as resistance perfectly. So give me a like, give me a subscribe. But I told you I'm not going to get excited about Bitcoin again until we get above that red line. Hold it for a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month. Come back down and test that resistance, that red line again. Make sure it serves as support this time and bounces off. And, maybe get a little volume in here, right? That's when I'll get excited about Bitcoin again. But until then, I don't have any Bitcoin. And why would we? Why should I? I've told you about 5 alt charts. Every single one of them is beating Bitcoin since the day I told you about it. Every single one. Perfect. Every single one I've told you about is beating Bitcoin. I haven't had one losing trade that I brought to this channel. Not one. Go back and watch my videos. Not one single trade is losing right now since I told you about it, since I brought it to this channel. So we're having success on this channel. So the one thing I wanted to, let's start with Ethereum, because like I said, if you've been following, you need to follow me on Twitter at @crypto_liberal, because yesterday we were making such a killing on Ethereum, and we pretty much got to the goal that I set when I entered the Ethereum trade, right? I've been telling you that I was looking for a 50%, almost a 50% return. It was like 48, 49 when I calculated it. And we got to 45%. And yesterday I took profits. And here's where I've made mistakes in the past, personally, in trading crypto. I don't take profits enough. So I've learned from my mistake. That's why I've been telling you I'm going to take profits. I've been preparing you as ETH has been crushing Bitcoin that I'm about to take profits. I'm about to take profits. Just a little bit more, just a little bit more. And yesterday we got that little bit more. And I took profits when it was up about 45% versus Bitcoin. I moved it into stablecoins. I haven't entered another altcoin yet. I'm not putting it into Bitcoin because alt season is here. Alts are going to crush Bitcoin when the market turns around. Mark my words. Not financial advice. You need to make your own financial decisions, but that's what my game plan is. So I'm looking for another alt to put it into. Might be Aave, might be more ADA. I have too much ADA at this point, so maybe that's kind of what's making me hesitate to put it into ADA, because everything would be in ADA at that point. So we'll see, but I will tell you when I move into something else, and I'm just looking for a good opportunity, maybe a little bit of a pullback, and then we'll put it in. So, but let's look at that ETH chart, or let's start back when I brought the ETH chart to the channel for the first time, or like a day after I brought it for the first time, and watch the video and see where the chart is when I brought it to the channel for the first time, and where the chart is now when we review where I took profits. Just keep an eye on it, because I didn't bring it to you 3 weeks prior when there was still more downward action to go. I didn't bring it to you 3 weeks after when you missed out on some gains already. I brought it to you at the exact moment that it was turning, that it was this most bearish, and it was just about to turn bullish. And at the exact moment. And that's not the only chart we've done that on in this channel, right? Almost every single chart I brought to you, has turned bullish right at the moment I brought it to you. I mean, I think DOT went down a little bit after I brought it to you for like 2 weeks, but then it turned around. I told you it was going to turn around, and it did. So maybe that was 2 weeks early, but it was barely nothing. We were barely losing for a couple weeks extra. And now it's bullish, and now we're profiting against Bitcoin. So let's go back in time and watch when I brought the ETH chart to you for the first time, or like the day after. Let's watch this. So let's look at Ethereum real quick, because I also put money into Ethereum. Whoops, I always do that. Sorry. So I'm gonna go here, ETH, BTC, and again we're gonna look at the Coinbase chart. So I showed you this chart for the first time yesterday. Oh, did I pass it? Where's Coinbase? There it is. Okay. And I'm looking at making money in this one now too. Nice. So, well, look at that. I told you right here, right at the bottom of this support line that goes back like a year. Maybe not quite a year, like 10 months or something, right? Look at that. That's perfect. And now we wicked down below it today. So I was down in my investment today, but at 0.052 Bitcoin, I put it into Ethereum here. And look at it, right now we're at 0.05283. It was down on it earlier today, but now we're back above that support line. This is the weekly again. So we have an entire week to close above it. Wasn't worried when I saw it below it today. But look at that. What am I telling you? Those are the two most bullish charts in crypto. So let's look at. Okay. So I brought it to right at the bottom. Right at the bottom. And ever since then, well, let's just look at the chart today. Let's look at the chart today. And from where we were on that first day I brought it to you and where we are today. So let's go to the ETH chart. Again, it's ETH versus Bitcoin. And we look at the Coinbase chart. And I look at the weekly, right? We're looking at the weekly. I don't do short-term trades. I'm not trading the daily. So look at this. I mean, look at this. It's so beautiful. So I brought it to you back here, right? Right at when we hit that red line for the first time, when it was about 0.052, right there, right? You recognize that from the video? And look at that. Ever since then, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, 7 of them have been green. 7 out of 8 weeks have been green since I brought it to the channel. And yesterday, we made it up to about 0.075, right? I told you, I've been telling you for weeks, actually, that I was waiting till we got to this blue line. And I'd been telling you I was going to take profits before we got to the upper blue line, right? The upper blue line was where my goal was. And that's about a 48% return from where we entered. Well, yesterday we got up to 0.075, right around here, and I took profits. And I did that, and I told you on crypto Twitter I was doing that on Twitter. Follow me there at crypto_liberal, and I put it in stablecoin. So just as proof, right? Just as proof. Look at Ethereum real quick. Look here. So trade alert for my followers posted yesterday. I moved from BTC into Ethereum about 2 months ago, but now taking profits at about a 45% return. Moving into stable coins at this point, but watch for where I put it next. And here's evidence, right? 0.075. And it went a little bit higher than I don't know exactly what it went up to. So I got out, right around that area. Not exactly 0.075, I don't think, but right around that area. And that was close enough to that blue line for me, right? Look at this. Whoops. From here, back, that last red candle, almost that last red candle, we had that one in the middle there. That's where I brought it to the channel. So if you appreciate that I bring these to the channel at the exact opportune moment, give me a like, give me a subscribe. So watch what I'm going to do. Oh, let's talk about what I expect from ETH now, because I might have to get back into, I might take that money I just pulled out of ETH and put it back in if something specific happens. Let's watch. Let's look at it. So there's a couple things that could happen to ETH, right? So I've been telling you for weeks, so we're in an ascending triangle on ETH, right? You can see the red line of support. I mean, it's perfect. Look at that, how perfect that is. And that's why I brought it to you when it hit that support line. But that upper blue line is kind of our upper bound resistance. And look how perfectly it served as resistance, going back to all the way back to, May of 2021. Resistance here. We broke above it for a little bit. And see, this is where we came back down, tested as support, it failed. And then, we went back up to it, resistance, in April of this year. And so we're about to hit it again. So there's a couple things that could happen here. We could get back to that blue line, get rejected, and then come back down to this red line. I tend to believe that it has the stronger likeliness, or it's a stronger odds that will happen, that will get rejected off that upper blue line again and come back down and visit that red line, which is why I exited the position. I still have Ethereum. I still have my long-term holding position, but that money that I took out of BTC and put into ETH, I pulled that out, thinking that we're going to come back down and visit this red line at least one more time. But the other scenario that could happen, right, is we break above the blue line. And then if we break above the blue line, similar to what we've been talking about for Bitcoin, break above that blue line, hold it for a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month, come back down and test the blue line as support, then I might put those funds back into Ethereum, because Ethereum is going to crush Bitcoin at that point. It's going to go on a tear like you wouldn't believe. And that's kind of similar to what happened back here, right? We broke above it, stayed above it for 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, a month, and then we tested it as support, but it failed. It didn't hold, right? So those are the two scenarios. Come back down to that red line or break above the blue line and just go on a tear. Now, I've been telling you, I've been doing this channel for 14 weeks. I've been telling you since day one of this channel, right? That new money, dollar cost averaging into ADA, Cardano, will outperform Ethereum and Bitcoin by the end of the year, a year from now, 5 years from now. And dollar cost averaging into Ethereum right now, 14 weeks ago to today, will outperform Bitcoin by those same time frames. And we collect data to prove it, right? We're collecting data to prove it. And how are we doing that, right? We put $100 into each of those cryptos once a week. So we've been doing it for 13 weeks, $1,300 into each of those. Well, how are they doing? How's it doing? Well, let's monitor our portfolio, right? So as you can see, Ethereum is crushing Bitcoin and is ahead of ADA as well. But ADA is also beating Bitcoin. So we are already right on our two hypothesis, even though it's not the end of the year. And there's still some huge news to come out, or huge events to come out for ADA and Ethereum this year. And when that happens, they will go on a tear versus Bitcoin. And those aren't the only ones, right? I mean, so we're winning this Ethereum trade, right? So let's go to the ADA trade. Again, we're gonna run through these real quick because I haven't done it for a few days. And it's Saturday and I have extra time, right? So ADA, I told you here, when we broke this downward sloping red line of resistance, I told you back here, it's time to get into ADA. Before this giant green candle in the week of June 13th, before that green candle. And, ever since then, we've been up. I told you to get in, or I told you I was getting in at 0.000019 Bitcoin. And today we're at 0.000022 Bitcoin, right? So we're winning that trade. That's 2 for 2, right? 2 for 2 on this channel. But that's not it. Here's the one I didn't get involved in. I chose another crypto, but I brought it to the channel. I told you it was turning bullish. And I only had enough funds to play one of them. And this is the one I didn't choose. But again, I told you when we broke this downward sloping red line of resistance, when we broke it, I told you make sure it comes back down. And if it tests that line as support and holds it, you're good to go. Well, look at what happened. It tested that line perfectly. And 1, 2, 3, 4 straight weeks of green. This week is slightly red, but you would have made a killing if you had gone in to Matic when I told you it was turning bullish. 3 for 3. Okay? So the one I chose over Matic isn't doing as good as Matic, but we're still up. Polkadot versus Bitcoin. Again, Coinbase chart. Again, weekly chart. This looks like the ADA chart, right? A downward sloping wedge, or descending wedge. We broke it back here. This is one I told you was negative for a few weeks. I told you after we broke the resistance, see if it comes down and tests that red line of support. It did. It held. And that's when I got in. And I got in when one dot was worth 0.000035 or 0.00035. And right now it's at 37. So we're winning this trade. So that's 4 for 4, right? 4 for 4. And I mean, look at last week's candle. Beautiful. That put us in profit on this trade. And I knew, even though we were losing for a few weeks, I told you it was going to come back. It did. We're winning this trade. And this just starting. Polkadot is just starting. I'm expecting like 100% return on this one. How about, so that's 4 for 4, right? You keeping track with me? How about our last one? Aave versus Bitcoin. And this was the one I'm kind of really bullish about, actually. And again, looks like the ADA chart, looks like the Polkadot chart. Descending wedge, broke resistance. And then I said, make sure it comes back down and tests it as support. It did. It held. Beautiful. I got in this week. On this week, when I said I'm going to wait for a little bit of a pullback, I got the little bit of a pullback. And I got in when one Aave was worth 0.004 Bitcoin. Now it's at 43, right? So 5 for 5. 5 for 5. You can't make it up. You can't make it up. Now, all of the future action is kind of going to be driven by Bitcoin here. With the Bitcoin decision, are we going to break that red line of resistance, or are we going to break that blue line of support? And And the next few months are going to be based on that decision, I think. So we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna happen soon, right? Let's just take one more look at it. It's gonna happen soon, and I'm interested to see how this plays out, because I right now, and this is the unknown part, right? I've told you I've been really good on these trades. I'm perfect on these trades. I mean, can't make it up. What I can't tell you, what I'm not confident about, what I think is 50-50, is do we break the blue line or do we break the red line? And I'm going to have to extend that red line out again because we're nearing the end of it. But do we break that red line of resistance or do we break that blue line of support? I think it's 50-50 at this point. But if I'm honest, I'm tending to think we have one more dump down. And so I'm thinking the blue line breaks. Now, I could be wrong. Like I said, it's 50-50. I guess I'm saying 51-49. That blue line doesn't hold over the red line doesn't hold right now. We'll see. I could, don't know. That's so up in the air. But if that blue line doesn't hold, right, what I expect is to do is come back down to this lower red line. And we'll have to see then if that holds. We just play it level by level. But what I do know is that in either scenario, when Bitcoin starts to go on a run, and it will, we will break that red line of resistance above us. It will happen. I just don't know if it's going to happen this week or a month from now or 6 months from now. We will break that red line of resistance. And when we do, alts are going to crush Bitcoin. And in particular, ADA and Ethereum are going to crush Bitcoin. Don't fall into this trap. These Bitcoin maxis, watch what they say. They always say Bitcoin's going to take over, for all fiat currencies. But what do? They turn around and define Bitcoin by the dollar. How much is Bitcoin worth by the dollar? That's why I don't do that on this channel, right? We don't do that on this channel. I tell you how much Ethereum is versus Bitcoin, and it's crushing Bitcoin. I tell you how much ADA is worth in Bitcoin, to show you that there are other cryptos are better investment opportunities right now than Bitcoin. And it's just a fact. We're 5 for 5. So help me spread that message. Help me spread the word. I appreciate every single one watching. I hope you're having a great weekend. Hope you're enjoying your time with your family and your friends and the world outside, and getting some time away from the charts. That's what my plan for the rest of the weekend is. Tomorrow we dollar cost average back into our 3 cryptos, tracking our data to make sure that our hypothesis is proved correct. So far it is. So join me on that journey. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, hit that bell notification. My name is Mike. I am the Crypto Liberal. We'll chat more tomorrow. Good night.